bumpy one. Hello everyone, this is MykeCheck'd 95, another MykeCheck'd Productions MykeCheck'd movie review for October Horrorfest. The last movie we reviewed was See No Evil. We are following up with the sequel, See No Evil 2. And this one, ooh, I like it, but it does have a lot more flaws than the first one, I believe. Let's get started. Set in the same evening as the first film, after the murders were found and reported, 9 bodies are taken from the Blackwell Hotel to the city morgue. I didn't really find a name of the place where this morgue was located, a town or city or state. But anyways, one of the bodies being Jacob Goodnight, who was pronounced dead on the way there. Meanwhile, one of the morgue coroners, Amy, it's her birthday, and her boss Holden sneaks in her friends and to throw an overnight party at the morgue for her. Little do they know that Jacob is alive and begins stalking them throughout the facility. Reading that plot alone, it sounds so corny. Now realizing it. Oh man, I'm in for a wild ride for this one. City morgue is the setting, like I said before, that I didn't really catch city was in. This is one thing I did like a lot in the movie. One thing that both movies got right, the setting was always fantastic. Like, the first one was just done so well, and it was designed into like a creepy, grotesque way, where like it was perfect for like a hideout for Jacob Goodnight. This one is a setting at pretty much a hospital. And a hospital in a horror movie is always creepy as fuck. So, I've never seen a horror movie where at least the hospital scene is the creepiest part, whether the movie is good or bad. When it comes to the cast, it didn't really seem like there was anything really much going on. Besides, oh, my pen just broke. Besides Amy's brother Will and her friend Seth, like that was the only really characters going in for it. Besides Tamara's creepy knowledge and love for serial killers and her sexual female hard-on for Jacob Goodnight. Oh, I can't believe those words came out of my mouth! Besides that, the other characters, like, there wasn't really much of a cast. Will is Amy's brother. He's all like, I want what's best for you and I want you to do this and that. He's one of those older brothers. And I feel like that was kind of forced upon for his character trait. It really made him annoying in the movie. And then there's Seth, I guess the love interest of Amy, or it's the other way around. I liked Seth's character a lot, although when I get later onto the review, he does make a lot of stupid decisions along with Amy. Like, Amy and Seth are probably the 2 best characters in this movie besides the killer, because the killer, again, makes the movie. Again, the best actor, character, Golden Globe, Oscar-winning performance, quote-unquote, for just, if it was just this movie alone, is Kane, again. He shines the brightest in the movie. It's just, for me in this one, it continues on from the first film. And I didn't really talk about it in the first movie, but he does end up killing his mother in the first film because of the constant battle, and he sees her as the evil sin at the end of that film. He's still battling with his mother in his mind. Like, he keeps remembering like this evil stuff he said to him and the arguments they would have and the beatings and the abuse that he would take from her. And he would just sit there. One scene he's sitting there, he's crying over her dead body in the morgue, and he just doesn't know what to do. The moment you see him battling with the voices in his head, whether he really is doing God's work or not. That's why I like Kane in these movies a lot, because I feel like he's the only one that puts a lot of effort into the character and makes you feel for him as well as be afraid of him at the same time. You really don't know what he's going to do and what's going through his head the entire time. He still didn't really say much, but he talked a bit more in this movie. Like, he was more vocal about like his thoughts and whatnot. He was mainly just talking to himself, but I liked it a lot more in this film. Kill-wise, I didn't really talk about the kills in the first one. The kills in the first one were a lot better than this one because I felt like they're a little bit more unique in the first one than they were in this one. This one was a little bit more basic. There was too many off-screen kills. There was only 3 that really stuck out to me the most. The first one would be Tamara. She was running across the room, she gets her neck slashed. The reason why I remember that one very well is that I'd say the effects on her neck getting slashed and her neck just kind of popping out and oozing out blood. I actually thought that was pretty good effects for that part of the kill there. That and her character is remembered for probably all the wrong reasons. I remember Will's kill because he pretty much got gutted by a handsaw from under a operating table. It was creative because of how he was pinned down and Kane was hiding under the table and he was kind of like... The only thing that I didn't like about that is the build up to the scene, which I'll get to in a second. And the last kill I remember is Seth's kill because, spoiler alert, everybody dies in this movie besides Kane, obviously. I remember his kill because it was the last kill in the movie, and he was probably the only one that probably got his eyes ripped out. There was a long, like, stretched out scene at the end where it's like it showed like bodies and whatnot. It's like that scene alone after he gets his eyes ripped out took like maybe 10 minutes, and it was like, was it really needed? I'm going on another tangent, but after that's done, Kane finally goes, I see it, I see the sin, and it's like, okay, like, he finally understands, I guess, in his eyes, what he needs to do from here on out. All the other ones flat out sucked, I would say. Even Amy's death was just kind of like it wasn't really even on screen. Like, they showed what happened afterwards, but it literally was just like through a door. The kills are very disappointing in this movie, besides the 3 that I explained. Now it's time to get into my overall thoughts. I want to start out with this. If this film was released in the 1990s, I feel like the showing for it would have been a lot better. And a lot of people were saying that when it first came out a couple years ago. I still believe that because it's got a lot of like 90s like tropes, and it feels a lot like a 1990s slasher movie. And I don't know if that's what they were going for, but it doesn't really work out in the era of the 2010s because it came out in 2014. But it's a great movie to throw in with 90s movies. Like, if you want to watch like Scream 1 and 2 and you don't want to watch Scream 3, throw in See No Evil 2 because why the fuck not? Obviously, Kane made the movie. He's the only reason why I kept watching this movie. I really wish that if he ever gets the time, they need to make the 3rd film, because this was supposed to be like a trilogy, I think. They need to make the 3rd and final film to kind of give it that bookend and give Jacob Goodnight that good, I guess, send-off or whatnot for the trilogy. I mean, the way the first one ended was pretty definite and whatnot, because it pretty much said he was dead. And then this one kind of just said, nope, he's alive. He has a hole in his chest, but he's alive. My point being, there needs to be a 3rd one to make up for the mistakes in this movie. Because I'm about to get into them. Amy and Seth's character, like I said, we're all right up to the 3rd act. When it gets to the 3rd act, I don't know what happens, but the pacing just gets horrible. There were several parts in the movie where I was sitting there and I was like, I could cut out maybe 15 seconds here, 10 seconds here, 20 seconds here, put them in another little folder as like a rough draft in case I wanted to release it as an extended cut, and push those scenes together, and you wouldn't miss a single damn thing. I get that they need to fill a certain runtime when it comes to certain contracts and movies and whatnot, but I just feel like they could have been a little bit more creative with how they extended those scenes instead of just, stretching it as far as you can, like the 1990s 70s stretch arm strong guy to the point where the arm rips off and the beads fall out, because I feel like with those scenes that was what was about to happen. It was getting stretched out so far it was about to unravel itself and fall to pieces. I need a drink for this one. It's soda, I promise that. There were two opportunities that I saw myself that Amy and Seth could have escaped and survived. The first one was the scene, the build-up leading up to Will's definite kill. They could have obviously got their shit, what they could, got the fuck out of the building, because Kane was too busy trying to kill Will. There's that. But they had to play the card where Amy had to go back and save her brother, and they went through the whole underground tunnel system that looked like a rehash from Grave Encounters. That was stretched out for about, I want to say like 5 minutes. Like that build up there, I felt like was pointless. I mean, yeah, the end game was cool. So that unique of a kill in this kind of movie. I liked the kill, but I don't like the build up to it. Like, I would have done it a little bit differently, but just they should have shortened it or not made it like super long. The other time they could have escaped was after he's cauterized and they open the window. I think Kane busts out the window. They're hiding around the corner and Kane's walking that way. When Kane hears a noise and he walks back the other way. I would have taken a chance and gone out the window because both windows were blown completely out. I personally feel like the two of them could have gotten out the windows like that. But they chose the side door and Amy dies, so there's that. Oh, man. I don't know, it's just my main problem with this film are the characters that I didn't give a damn about. There's like little to almost no character development for a lot of people in this movie, except for like maybe 2-3 people. Story's a little weak. It's weaker than the first one, but the only good thing running for it is literally Kane battling with his mental demons. That's the only good thing about this film that has it going for it, and it's barely holding on to this film. And the pacing was perfectly fine up to the third act, and then they just... I'm having a hard time explaining this because I actually liked this movie a lot when I first got it because I was a lot younger. And watching this now for the first time in like 6 years, I hate the third act. I absolutely hate the third act to the end of this movie. And it's not Kane's fault. It's the way the other characters are portrayed in the movie and the direction of the film and the pacing of the ending is just so horrible that I could have edited better than that. And I'm not trying to like talk bad about any like the directors or whatever of this film, but come on. Like I said before, I mean, even with the flaws kept in the film, it's still okay. It gets harder to watch near the end, but it's still okay in the long run because of Kane. And like I said earlier, if only this film was released in the 1990s, I would have no problem with it. But I still think the pacing issue would still be a problem back in the 90s, so that's unchangeable. My rating is, oh man. I wrote down 6.5, but I'm going to have to go with a 6 out of 10. Just going through these notes on this film, it frustrated me a lot. This is a movie I had a lot of expectations for when I first got it, and a lot of expectations for watching it again, and they were just let down just by that third act, and it irritates me that much. So I'm just going to say 6 out of 10. Thank you for watching the review. I guess you can call this kind of a rant review, but This has been another MykeCheck'd Productions, MykeCheck'd movie review for October Horrorfest. As of right now, See No Evil 1 easily tops See No Evil 2 on ratings, but we'll see how that goes for the third film. But this is MykeCheck'd 95, signing out. I don't have to see hooks anymore, hopefully.